Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into Simon Sinek's Start with Why. His really powerful idea about the golden circle. Our mission here is to kind of quickly unpack how real, lasting inspiration actually works.
It's such a key question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Sinek, well, he's an ethnographer, a marketer, and he really looked into why some leaders just click. They build this incredible loyalty. Others just, manage. His own search for meaning sort of led him to this whole philosophy. And it just exploded after that 2010 TED Talk went viral.
Right. Everyone saw that one.
Yeah. But what's interesting, and maybe a bit overlooked, is why it's still so hard for most people, most organizations, to actually start with why, even when they know the idea.
Okay, so how does he make this observation practical? He gives us the golden circle. I think most people have seen the diagram. It's like 3 rings, right?
Exactly. 3 concentric rings. On the outside, you've got the what.
That's the easy bit. Your product, services, maybe your job title, the tangible stuff.
Right. Then moving in, you have the how. These are your specific actions, the processes, maybe your core values, how you do what you do.
Okay.
But right there in the center, the core, that's the WHY, your purpose, your cause, your fundamental belief. It's the reason you get out of bed in the morning, essentially. The reason your organization exists.
It's often the fuzziest one to define, though.
It is. And what's really fascinating is Sinek's argument for why, starting with why, works. He links it to biology, to how our brains are structured.
Oh, okay. How does that work?
Well, the what, the facts, the figures, the features, that speaks to our neocortex. That's the rational, analytical part of the brain. Language lives there.
Makes sense.
But the WHY and the how, they connect directly with the limbic brain. This is a much older part of the brain, responsible for our feelings, like trust and loyalty. And, crucially, it's responsible for almost all human behavior and decision-making.
So that's why decisions often feel like gut feelings, because they're coming from that non-verbal, emotional part of the brain.
Precisely. The limbic brain doesn't really do language. It does feeling. So when a message connects with your why, it bypasses pure analytical thought and taps right into that loyalty center. It feels right.
That clicks. It explains why some brands or leaders just resonate on a deeper level. But here's the puzzle, right? If it's biologically wired, why do most people and companies still start with the what? They lead with products, features.
It's the default, isn't it? Easier to talk about what you do than why you do it. But Sinek argues this approach, it fails to truly inspire, because it's only talking to that rational neocortex. It often leads to what he terms manipulation. Things like price drops, promotions, fear tactics.
Right, things that might get a quick sale, maybe coerce a decision.
Exactly. They might drive short-term behavior, but they don't build genuine, lasting loyalty. That comes from a shared belief, a shared why. Without that clear why, brands just become commodities. Hard to tell them apart. You end up competing on price alone.
And you mentioned the how, too. It's not just an add-on.
No, not at all. The how is critical. It's the disciplined actions, the values lived out, that make the why believable. It's proof. Without a clear how, your why is just an idea. It lacks the substance to really inspire action in others.
So just selling a what means you're constantly chasing the next transaction, not building a real following. Whereas the leaders who do inspire, the ones with that lasting impact, they consistently start with why. They communicate from the inside out.
Absolutely. And that attracts people who believe what they believe. Those are your loyal followers, your advocates. It's really shifted things in leadership, in marketing, even in personal development. It helps build strong cultures, gives individuals a compass.
Yeah, it taps into that fundamental human need for purpose, doesn't it? To feel like you belong to something bigger.
It really does.
You think about Apple, for instance. Their why, Sinek always says, is about challenging the status quo, thinking differently.
Right. It's not just, we make great computers.
Exactly. And that why creates incredible loyalty. People buy into the cause, not just the product specs. Or think about Martin Luther King Jr. His speech wasn't, I have a plan. It was, I have a dream. Rooted entirely in his why for civil rights. That's what moved millions.
Such powerful examples. So for anyone listening, how can you start applying this? Well, one simple way is just to observe. Look at a company's advertising or website. Are they mostly talking about their what? Or do you get a sense of their how and maybe even their why?
That's a good exercise. And then maybe turn it inwards. Try to identify your own what's your job, or maybe a really significant hobby you pour energy into. That tangible what can actually be your starting point to dig deeper and figure out your underlying why.
Yeah, start with what you do, and then keep asking why. Why is that important? Why does it matter? And maybe this leads to a final thought, or a question, really. If your why is truly your guiding compass, what kind of bold, visionary thing might it inspire you to do? Something maybe no one's even asked for yet, but that aligns perfectly with your core purpose. Welcome to the deep dive. We've been looking at all this great material you shared on purpose and motivation.
Yes, lots to dig into there.
And today, we really want to zero in on what feels like the most, well, transformative idea.
Yeah.
Finding your core purpose, your why.
Absolutely. That central question.
You know that feeling, right? That nagging sense of, is this all there is? Or maybe you see people who just seem to radiate purpose and you wonder, how?
While others seem a bit adrift, this deep dive hopefully gets to the heart of that.
It really stems from Simon Sinek's golden circle idea, doesn't it?
It does. The core of it is everyone knows what they do, their job title, their tasks.
Right.
And, many people can explain how they do it, their unique skills or process.
But the why.
Yeah, that's different.
Exactly. Very few can clearly articulate why they do what they do. And we're not talking about making money. That's a result.
Not the driving force.
No. The why is the deeper motivation, the contribution, the belief.
So in this deep dive, we want to unpack the surprising power of having that clear purpose. And look at why is something you discover, not something you just invent.
Right. That's a key distinction. And then, crucially, give you two practical methods to actually start uncovering it.
Let's start with that power piece. You mentioned profit. People get that mixed up with purpose all the time.
They really do. Sinek's pretty clear on this, though, isn't he?
Unequivocal. Profit is a result. It's essential, like fuel for a car.
Oh, I like that analogy. Fuel is vital. You need it to run.
But it's not the purpose of the journey, is it? No one plans a road trip just to buy gas.
Exactly. The why is the destination. It's the impact you want to have beyond the paycheck.
And what's really fascinating, it's not just, a nice idea. It maps to our biology.
The golden circle in the brain? Yeah. Tell us about that.
Okay, so the facts, figures, features that aligns with our neocortex, the rational, analytical part of the brain, language lives there.
Got it. The thinking brain.
But the how, and crucially the why, they correspond to the limbic system.
The older part. The feeling brain.
Precisely. It controls our emotions, our behavior, trust, loyalty, all decision-making, actually.
Wow. And the kicker is...
It has no capacity for language.
So that's the gut feeling, when something just feels right, even if you can't immediately explain it logically.
Exactly. And that's why communicating from your why first is so powerful. You're talking directly to the decision-making part of the brain.
Bypassing the analytical part, in a way.
Well, engaging the emotional core first. It builds trust, connection, loyalty. People don't just buy what you do.
They buy why you do it. That makes so much sense. It explains brand loyalty beyond just features.
It really does. Inspiring leaders, disruptive companies that communicate from the why.
Okay, so if this why is so fundamental, where does it come from? Do we build it?
Yeah.
Or is it already there? You mentioned discovery, not invention.
That's probably the most important distinction. It's discovery. Your why isn't something you fabricate or decide on one Tuesday morning.
It's not like choosing a new strategy.
Not at all. It's who you already are when you're at your natural best. It comes from your past, your upbringing, the highs, the lows, the lessons learned, your core values.
So trying to invent one.
It feels false. It's unsustainable. People sense inauthenticity. And it ultimately erodes trust, both with others and, frankly, with yourself.
So fulfillment comes from aligning with who you genuinely are.
Exactly. Not trying to be someone else.
Okay, that leads to the big question. How do we discover it then? You mentioned two methods. So let's start with the first one, the friend test.
The friend test, yes. The idea here is simple but powerful. Your closest friends often see your core contribution more clearly than you do.
Because they don't have our internal filters or self-criticism.
Precisely. They lack our subjectivity. So the process is pick 3 to 5 of your closest friends.
And crucially, Sinek says no spouses or immediate family, right?
Right. They're often too close. Their perspectives too intertwine with yours. You need that slightly more objective viewpoint.
Okay, got my friends list. Then what? Just ask them.
You ask them a simple, maybe slightly awkward question. Why are we friends?
Oh boy. Yeah, I can imagine the silence. I tried something like this and my friend just stared at me.
Agrees. Yes, expect that. Let them sit with it. That discomfort is actually part of the process. They have to think beyond the surface level.
So after the initial awkwardness,
you pivot slightly. Ask something like, okay, putting it differently, what specifically is it about me that makes you know I'll always be there for you?
Ah, okay. More specific.
Yes, and you have to gently push back on generic answers. If they say, oh, you're just nice or you're supportive,
Ask for more. Like, how?
you're listening for them to describe the effect you have on them. The goal is to get them to say things like, well, when I'm with you, I feel, or because you make me feel.
The feeling you create in them, that's the core.
That's the core insight. And pay attention to your reaction when you hear their answers.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
A sense of, yes, that's it.
Exactly, your own limbic system recognizing the truth. Then compare the notes from different friends. Look for the recurring themes. That's where the gold is.
Okay, that's powerful, getting that external view. What's the second method?
The second method complements the friend test by looking inward. It's about reflecting on your peak experience.
Peak experiences, like moments you felt really alive.
Yes, those times when you felt most engaged, most fulfilled, most authentically you. Think of Abraham Maslow's concept, or moments of flow.
So how do you mine those memories? What are the prompts?
You'd ask yourself questions like, think about a time at work or even a personal project where you felt completely absorbed and alive. What were you doing?
Good.
Or what's an accomplishment you're deeply proud of? Not just the outcome, but the process, what felt good about doing it.
The journey, not just the destination again.
Right. Or maybe a specific time you helped someone and it felt truly meaningful, like you made a real difference.
So you gather these stories, then what?
For each story, you analyze it. Ask, what was my specific contribution in that situation? What core value was I living out? And what was the core feeling at the heart of that experience for me?
Contribution, value, feeling. Got it.
Then the real magic happens when you triangulate. You overlay the themes from the friend test with the insights from your peak experiences.
So they should point in the same direction.
Ideally, yes. For example, maybe your friends say, you make me feel safe to explore new ideas.
Okay.
And one of your peak experiences was leading a really creative breakthrough brainstorming session where everyone felt energized.
Ah, I see the connection.
The underlying why might be something like to create safe and inspiring spaces so that others can unlock their creative potential. See how the external and internal feedback align.
That's really clear. Brings it all together. Okay, let's recap quickly.
Your why, it's this deep source of inspiration and motivation.
And it's not invented. It's discovered by looking at your past.
Through clues from the outside, your friends, and from the inside, your own peak memories.
So the mission for you listening, should you choose to accept it.
Part 1, the friend test. Just find one trusted friend this week. Go through those steps, see what comes up.
Be brave through the awkwardness.
Agrees. And part 2, peak experience reflection. Set aside maybe 15 minutes. Write down just one story where you felt truly alive and analyze it. Contribution, value, feeling.
You might be surprised at the patterns that start showing up, even from just those 2 small steps.
Definitely.
And that leads us to the final thought. Once you have these first clues, these hints of your why, what do you actually do with it? How does it change things?
That's the bridge to action.
And that's exactly what we'll tackle in our next deep dive. Translating that discovered purpose into tangible action. The how that follows the why.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So last time we really dug into finding your why, didn't we? That sort of core belief driving you.
That fundamental purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe you've got a draft of that statement now, but I think the big question popping up for a lot of people is probably, okay, now what?
Right. What do I do with this?
How do you turn this, potentially abstract idea into something real? Something you live every day.
Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today. It's all about building the how.
How? Okay.
It's really the essential bridge in Sinek's Golden Circle. Your why, it connects with your gut, right? Your limbic brain feelings, trust.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really speak in words.
More of a feeling.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then you've got your products, services, the things you actually do. That talks to the logical brain, the neocortex.
Right, the rational part.
The how is the translator between those two. It takes the promise of your why, that emotional core, and shapes it into a system, a repeatable way of acting.
Ah, okay. So without that how, the why just sort of hangs there.
Exactly. It can feel like a hollow promise, a great idea, but kind of ungrounded.
So it's about making it tangible. What are these hows then? What do they look like in practice? Are they just values?
Well, they are your operating principles, yes.
Yeah.
The specific actionable values guiding how you behave, especially, when you're operating at your best.
Okay.
But here's the crucial part Sinek points out. They absolutely must be verbs, action words.
Verbs, not nouns.
Yes. It's not enough to say integrity. It needs to be something like always do the right thing, even when it's hard.
Ah, I see. Like Apple. You mentioned them before.
Perfect example. Their why is about challenging the status quo, right? Thinking differently. But their how isn't just good design. It's actionable. Simplify. Perfect. Make it intuitive. Start over if needed. You can see the action in those words.
That makes so much sense, the action part. So living this how, that sounds like, well, it sounds like work. Discipline.
It absolutely is. This is where authenticity really happens, or where it fails. Authenticity isn't just something you are. It's built.
How so?
It's the sum total of your consistent, disciplined choices. Every single time you choose to act according to your how, especially when it's difficult or inconvenient, you're laying another brick.
We're building trust.
Exactly. Trust with others, and maybe even more importantly, trust with yourself. Think about Southwest Airlines.
Okay, yeah.
Their why is about making flying accessible, democratic. Their hows. Low cost, sure, but also friendly service, keeping it fun, no frills.
Right. They famously didn't charge for bags for ages.
Exactly. Resisting that short-term gain because it clashed with their how of simplicity and affordability.
Yeah.
That built incredible loyalty over time. It proved their why wasn't just talk.
Okay, but what happens when that breaks down, when the how fails?
Well, that's when the bridge collapses, basically. Your action starts looking inconsistent with your why.
And you lose authenticity.
You lose authenticity, you destroy trust.
Yeah.
And it can lead to something called ethical fading.
Ethical fading.
Yeah, it's usually not one big dramatic failure. It's more like small compromises. Little decisions that slowly, maybe almost unnoticeably, erode your principles.
Like the frog in boiling water thing?
Sort of, yeah. And the human cost is huge. People feeling disengaged, like their values don't matter, feeling unseen. It's a big deal.
So how do we avoid that? How do we, as individuals, figure out our hows?
You actually look back at the same place you found your why. Those past experiences, those stories where you felt most alive, most effective.
The peak moments.
Right. What were the common threads? What actions or values kept showing up? Maybe it was connection or clarity or building things.
Okay.
Find those recurring themes. Then try to boil them down, maybe pick the top 3 to 5 that really feel like your natural strengths in action.
And then turn them into verbs.
Turn them into verbs. So if simplicity was a theme, maybe your how becomes keep things simple and clear.
Got it.
And you can even make it super practical. Like for that how, you might say, okay, when I write an important email, I will reread it specifically to cut out jargon. That's your how in action. It's your personal blueprint.
That makes it feel much more achievable, not just this big abstract thing.
It reports checking in with yourself, though.
Yeah.
Asking, am I actually doing this?
So these hows, they aren't meant to restrict you, are they?
Not at all. They're like guardrails. They keep you on the path that leads towards your why. They help you stay aligned.
So you can build something that actually matters, something lasting.
Precisely. It's about that deep alignment.
Okay, so for everyone listening, what's a good first step? An actionable takeaway?
Just pick one. One how that you've started to articulate. And for this next week, just focus on applying that one how to one thing you do every single day.
Just one thing.
Just one. Feel what it's like. Notice the difference when you act completely in line with that principle. It can be quite powerful.
Okay, I like that. Simple, focused. Because once you get that why and how working together, really balanced.
And then you're ready for the final piece.
Right. Which brings us to our next deep dive. We'll be exploring the what, how your actions, your results become the ultimate, undeniable proof of what you truly believe. Join us then. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. So we've journeyed into that core purpose, your why, and then looked at the how, the values that really bring that purpose to life. Today, we hit the part everyone sees, the what.
Yeah, the what. That's the tangible stuff, right? Your products, the services you offer, maybe the specific job you do day to day.
Exactly. It's the most visible piece of the puzzle. But that visibility, well, it's also where things can get a bit dangerous.
Dangerous how?
Well, think about it. Every company knows what they do, 100%. But only a few can really, truly articulate why they do it.
Okay. So when that what gets disconnected from the why.
That's when trust starts to break down. Inspiration just sort of vanishes.
Yeah.
So our mission today is figuring out how to make sure your what is actually powerful proof of your purpose.
Got it. Proof, not the purpose itself.
Right. Let's break that down. The what is that outermost layer of Simon Sinek's golden circle? It's the products, the services, the marketing, all the measurable results.
And you said every company knows this part.
Yep. And it's processed by the rational part of our brain, the neocortex. It's just the evidence.
Okay, so what's the trap then?
The trap is starting the conversation there with the what. It's how most communication happens outside in.
Right, like a typical computer company might say.
We make great computers. They have these features. Want to buy one? It's logical, sure.
But not very inspiring.
Not at all. Now contrast that with how Apple does it, or at least how they used to. They start inside out.
They start with why. We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently.
Then they explain how. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use.
And we just happen to make great computers. See the difference?
It's huge. It leads to that key insight. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it.
So starting with what is really just asking for a sale, a transaction.
But starting with why, that's inviting people to join a cause, something bigger than just a product.
And if you forget that why, if you only focus on the what happens then? You mentioned commoditization.
Exactly. Commoditization is one major danger. Your products just become interchangeable with everyone else's.
And then you're forced to compete mainly on price.
Price, features, service maybe. Sinek uses this analogy of becoming like a junkie, always needing the next hit, the next promotion, the next price drop.
Because the products themselves have become commodities. It's like selling corn or oil.
And he argues this is really an internal failure. It comes from losing touch with your why.
Okay, so commoditization is one danger. What's the other?
Manipulation.
Yeah, manipulation. When you can't inspire people based on your why, you resort to manipulating them to buy.
And that looks like, what, price drops again?
Price drops, promotions, using fear tactics, aspirational messages, peer pressure, even novelty, new and improved.
Right. Tactics to get a short-term result.
Exactly. They generate transactions, maybe. But they absolutely do not build loyalty. Think about General Motors and those huge cash back offers they ran. Oh yeah, I remember those. Get thousands back.
Sales shot up, sure. But who were customers loyal to? GM. Or the deal.
The deal, obviously.
Right. So when the incentive stopped, sales plummeted. It proved people weren't loyal to GM's why, if they even knew what it was anymore, just the what of the deal.
Okay, so if the what needs to be proof of the why, how do we actually build that bridge? How do we make sure it's consistent?
Consistency. That's the key word. It's the currency that builds trust.
Trust isn't built overnight, right?
Definitely not. It's like Sinek's gym analogy. You don't get fit working out for 9 hours straight one day.
No, that would probably just injure you.
Right. But 20 minutes, half an hour, every single day. That's what builds strength over time.
So consistency in your actions, in your what, proves your why over time.
Exactly. Every product, every ad, every interaction needs to authentically reflect that core belief.
And there's a biological reason for this too, isn't there? Something about the brain.
Yeah, it connects back to the brain structure, the facts and figures that's processed by our neocortex, the rational part.
But the why, the purpose, the belief that resonates with the limbic system.
Which is the emotional center, right, where trust and loyalty actually live.
Exactly. So when your what aligns with your why, the rational brain and the emotional brain are in sync. It feels right. It feels authentic.
And when they're not aligned?
That's when we feel off. It's like cognitive dissonance. Something doesn't add up and we lose trust.
Okay, but here's a potential problem. What happens when a company gets really successful focusing on its what? Does that success become a threat to the why?
It absolutely can. Sinek calls success the single greatest challenge because success, often measured by what metrics like sales or market share, can make the original why get fuzzy.
Fuzzy, like less clear.
Yeah. The focus shifts purely to the results, the what. And for the people inside the organization, work can start to feel like just a job, detached from that initial purpose.
Can you give an example of that?
Walmart, after Sam Walton, is often cited. The original why seemed to be about serving people and communities, bringing value to small towns.
Okay.
But over time, that arguably became fuzzy, overshadowed by an intense focus on the what of just low prices, sometimes at great cost to employees or suppliers. That shift damaged trust for many.
So success really tests your commitment to staying true to your why.
It's the ultimate test.
So this brings us to authenticity. What does that really mean in this context?
True authenticity, according to this model, is simple.
Hmm.
It's when you say and do the things you actually believe.
So your golden circle is in balance. Your
Yeah.
what is the physical proof of your why.
Exactly. And there's a practical filter for this, the celery test.
Celery test. Okay, explain that.
Imagine your personal why is to live a healthy life, to only put good things in your body.
Okay, got it. Healthy life.
Go to the grocery store. Someone advises you need M&Ms, cookies, celery, and rice milk for your healthy life.
Right. Well, two of those don't really fit.
Precisely. The celery and rice milk pass the test. They align with your why. The M&Ms and cookies fail. They're inconsistent.
So you wouldn't buy them if you were being authentic to your why.
Correct. Now apply that to business. Volkswagen's why is implicitly about being the people's car, reliable, accessible value.
Makes sense.
So when they launched the Phaeton, a $70,000 luxury sedan, did that pass the celery test?
Probably not. Seems like chocolate cake for a celery brand.
Exactly. It failed the test, and unsurprisingly, it didn't sell well under the VW brand. It created dissonance.
But didn't Toyota and Honda launch luxury cars?
They did, but crucially, they created separate brands, Lexus and Acura. They knew a high-end luxury car wouldn't pass the celery test for the core Toyota or Honda why. So they created new entities with their own why, how, and what. That passes.
So it maintains the integrity of the original brand's why. Okay, this is making sense. So for listeners, how do we make this actionable? What can we actually do?
Okay, 2 quick exercises. First, what Sinek might call a what aligns with why test. Take your main what, your current job, your main product, whatever. Hold it up against your defined why. Ask yourself honestly, does this truly align? Where are the inconsistencies? Just identifying that friction is huge.
Okay, a personal audit. What's the second thing?
It's about how you communicate. Try flipping the script when someone asks, what do you do?
Instead of just giving my job title.
Yeah. Start with your why, then explain your how, and then state your what.
Okay, give me an example, like for a teacher.
Sure. Instead of I teach 3rd grade, maybe try. Well, I believe every child deserves to feel powerful and discover their own potential why. I do that by creating a really engaging, hands-on classroom where curiosity leads the way how. And what I actually do is teach 3rd grade science what.
Wow, okay. That feels completely different, much more compelling.
It connects instantly on a deeper level. It starts with belief.
So wrapping this up then, the what is critical. It's the proof. But it's never the starting point, and it's never the purpose itself.
Never the purpose. In a world absolutely flooded with whats, the real sustainable advantage comes from clarity and consistency around your why.
The goal isn't necessarily to have the objectively best what.
No, it's to have a what that most powerfully and consistently proves what you actually believe. That's authenticity.
So the final thought for everyone listening is, what does that mean for you and your what? Join us next time as we dig into the outcome of all this alignment. Trust. We'll explore why we instinctively trust some leaders, some brands, and not others. It's fascinating stuff. See you then.
Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're really unpacking what sets apart, those inspiring leaders or companies, even just individuals who really connect. It's not just what they do or even how they do it. It's something deeper. It's the why.
Exactly, that why. It's your core purpose, right, or your core belief. And the reason it's so powerful is it connects directly with your limbic brain.
Okay. The emotional part, the gut feeling center.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Trust, loyalty. It all stems from there. It's why you hear that saying, people don't buy what you do.
They buy why you do it. Right. Heard that.
Yeah. So value becomes this feeling. It's not just, a logical calculation.
Okay. So today we're getting into how that why builds trust, really deep trust, and inspires people to act. We'll touch on the law of diffusion of innovation, the importance of hiring for why, and this is interesting, the power of actually asking for help.
Yeah, that last one's a bit counterintuitive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's start with how ideas spread, this law of diffusion. It's basically a bell curve showing how an idea moves through a population. And way over on one side, you've got the early adopters, about 13, 14%?
Roughly, yeah. 13.6%. These are the real enthusiasts.
Like the people who waited in line for hours for the very first iPhone.
Exactly. And they weren't just there for the new shiny tech.
No, it was more than that. It was what it represented, what they believed Apple was about.
Precisely. They bought the why. But here's the tricky part. Lots of great ideas stall out. They hit what are called the chasm.
Okay, what's the chasm?
It's this big gap between those early enthusiasts, the early adopters, and the next group, the early majority. That early majority is a much bigger chunk, like 34%, more practical people.
And the why is the bridge.
It's the critical bridge. Without it, you often can't cross that chasm.
So how does that work? The early adopters. They're driven by gut feelings, shared belief.
Yeah, pretty much. They get excited. They become advocates, like real passionate ones.
With their excitement,
Sure.
it makes the next group, the early majority, take notice.
Exactly. Their visible enthusiasm act like social proof, role models, almost. It gives the more cautious majority the confidence they need to jump in.
But if the why isn't clear,
Then it fizzles. You get the early buzz, but it doesn't translate to mass adoption. Stuck in the chasm.
okay, that makes sense for ideas.
Yeah.
How does this why translate to building trust between people or in organizations?
Well, it's similar. Real trust. Deep trust. It comes from shared beliefs and values, more than just, say, someone being reliable.
So it's back to the limbic brain again, that gut feeling.
Absolutely. When an organization or a person consistently communicates their why through what they do, not just what they say, that's when that feeling of trust really forms, that gut connection.
Authenticity then is crucial. What you say, what you do has to line up with what you actually believe.
It has to. We're wired for it. Humans are fundamentally tribal. Our survival, historically, depended on surrounding ourselves with people who believed what we believed. Shared values meant safety, cooperation.
And that translates to modern organizations, like in hiring.
Big time. Think about this. Great companies don't hire skilled people and motivate them.
They hire already motivated people and inspire them.
Yeah.
Right.
They hire for the why, for that cultural fit, those shared beliefs.
Because skills aren't always the issue if someone doesn't work out.
Often they're not. Get this, something like 61% of employee failures aren't about lack of skills. It's about fit, attitude, values. And look at retention, purpose-driven places. Places with a clear why, they see about 40% higher retention. People stay when they believe.
Wow. That really flips the usual hiring script.
Yeah.
I like that Simon Sinek interview question you mentioned, the one about surprises.
Oh, yeah. I hate surprises. Can you tell me something that might go wrong now?
So that I'm not surprised when it happens. It's brilliant.
It is, isn't it? Because it encourages honesty, self-awareness about weaknesses.
Which builds trust right from the start.
Yeah.
And helps figure out where someone fits best.
Exactly. It helps create that psychological safety where people feel okay being honest, taking risks. That's where teams really thrive.
Okay, so building trust. It's about shared why, authenticity. But then there's this paradox. You mentioned it earlier. It's not just about offering help, but asking for it. That seems backwards.
It does feel backwards, doesn't it? But think about it. Sinek tells that story about his friend, right? Feeling denied the chance to help.
How dare you be so selfish to deny me the honor of being there for you? Yeah, that's powerful.
It reframes asking for help completely. It's not weakness, it's actually allowing someone else to contribute. It's an act of service, in a way.
Vulnerability is a strength.
Precisely. And when leaders model this, when they admit, hey, I messed up, I need your help to fix this.
It creates space for everyone else, makes it safe.
Totally. Sinek was really open about his own business, how it only really took off when he stopped pretending, stopped, as he put it, lying, hiding, and faking.
So being vulnerable, asking for help,
Yeah.
it's like you're trusting the other person first.
You are. You're extending trust.
And that invites them to trust you back.
Sure.
It builds community.
It strengthens the bonds, absolutely. And even when trust is broken, which happens, rebuilding it is possible. It's slow, mind you. It needs consistency. Paddings, not just promises.
And the why kind of underpins all of that, gives you the foundation to rebuild.
It provides that fundamental purpose, yeah. It helps navigate the tough stuff, build resilience.
So, wrapping this up, that why, it really is like a magnet, isn't it? Pulling in people who believe what you believe, creating that lasting influence.
It's the core, absolutely.
So here's something for you listening to think about. As you reflect on your own why, maybe where you could be more authentic, consider this. Where in your life, right now, could being vulnerable enough to actually ask for help be the most powerful move you could make?
How might just taking that one step build trust, not just for you, but for the people around you? What could it unlock?
That's all for this episode of the Deep Dive Cast. Thanks for joining us. We hope you gained some valuable insights. Be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive into the world's best ideas. Until then, keep learning and growing.